All right, welcome back to Burn the Ship. This is the podcast where we introduce professionals to entrepreneurs that can help you go all in on your business. We want to talk to people that have walked the walk and talked the talk and been through all of the things in the small business world that we all experience as business owners. So I appreciate you coming in today. I think we'll have a good conversation. We've had a couple of good conversations on the phone.
Absolutely.
Go ahead and introduce yourself for the viewers. Kind of tell them who you are and tell them a little bit about your business.
Fantastic. Thanks for having me here. My name is Michael Morgan. I am the founder of Flags of the Fallen. We are a nonprofit organization that was founded after we lost 13 heroes in Afghanistan on September 26, 21. And we originally it was not an intended business. It was just a nice act where we were going to send the 13 families a custom made wooden personalized flag. When that terrible day happened, the number 13 just kept gnawing in my head. 13 heroes out defending our flag, 13 stripes. So there was just that symmetry that was just bothering me even more than just the terrible events themselves. So I liked to play around in my wood shop and make flags and different types of things. So I thought I would make an American flag, put the 13 names, one on each stripe, and make 13 of them, send them out to the 13 families. It's just a very small gesture to, say that we're here for them, to support them, and sorry for their loss. And so we did that, and, I often joke at our presentations, you can't take a big wooden flag, because they're about 2 feet by 3 feet, and you can't just drop that off at the post office and like a letter to Santa Claus. It just magically shows up at its intended recipient. So I had to find these folks, and I did, and I've got to speak with them, and some of them I talk to on a very regular basis, and they're just amazing human beings. But so I got to know them a little bit, sent them their flags, and they were just so appreciative that they came back to me and said, Mike, these things are amazing. If you don't mind, we'd like to ask one more favor. And I said, of course. And they said, quite simply, if we would love it if you don't stop with us. So now that's how it went from a gesture to a 501c3 nonprofit organization. And now we will make a custom personalized wooden flag for anybody that we lose in service to the country, whether it be military, first responder, anyone that wears the flag or serves the country and they pay that ultimate sacrifice. We're going to do our small part to honor them. Our mission statement is remembering those we lost by caring for those they left behind. So we go around the country and we bring these flags to present to them as just, I said, a small token. And it's been going crazy in the, year and a half since we launched the organization.
How many flags have you delivered?
Great question. I would say ballpark around 200. And they take a lot of work. So it takes on average, it takes about 15 hours to make these. They're very, very detailed, very complex. It's not, I'm not knocking any other flags out there, but there's a lot of flags where you can take a piece of wood and stick it in a CNC machine and let the laser do all the work. Everything we do is basically 3D. All the letters and logos and images are all cut and then added to it. So it's they're really one of a kind, and each one is, I won't call it a work of art, but it's a tribute. Other people have said that, but in terms of how it is a tribute to that hero, it literally is that story of that person. Because the number one thing we hear from the families of someone who was lost is they're worried that their loved one will be forgotten by far. And when you walk into a room and you see that flag on the wall, I don't care who you are, you're going to stop in your tracks when you see that. And that someone once said there might as well be glue paper underneath it, because you're going to be there. And
Are there some pictures on your website?
there are.
I'm gonna
Absolutely.
look them up real quick and
Yep.
show the audience.
Absolutely. And then people end up sitting there for while you're doing that. They'll read the whole flag. They'll look at they'll read the story of that person. And if that's there we are. They'll read that story, and that's for 1 or 2 minutes, whether it's a conversation with themselves or just remembering that person. That's the way they'll spend a little bit of time.
Oh, so these are the ones that you originally...
That's the original ones that went out to the 13 families.
Let me show this to the audience here. Can't tell which one of these I'm on. Second. So these are the ones that we're talking about here.
Yes, sir.
So these are the original. You said how many of these? There were 13 of them, right?
13 of those that went. We ended up doing about 50 of those alone, because once the one was not enough for most families. They
More people wanted to.
yeah, there's a mother, a father, a sister,
Right.
and so we ended up some families ended up getting 3 and 4, and then we actually one of the mothers told me that the members of their unit saw them, and she asked me if I've sent her close to 10 now for the other members of the unit. So they're
Wow.
yeah, and we're actually making one as well as a unit insignia that's going to be it's done, but it's a good 2x2. We're taking that out to Camp Pendleton, where they're all based out of, and that's going to go, both the flag and the unit insignia is going to go up in their command post. And the military does it right. They're going to have someone's job will be to make sure that that's dusted and looks good 24/7. So it's going to be a real nice way to another way to pay tribute to these guys.
Is this still you in your wood shop pumping out these products, or?
Well, we have a board, we have a team, we have no is the short answer, but there's others involved. It's still small. I do the overwhelming majority of it in my wood shop. We've got one of the board members has some of the laser CNC equipment in his wood shop. So a lot of stuff I'll send to him and he'll send it back to me. And then in terms of making the actual flags and putting them together, right now it's me. But this year we're going to open a facility where we're going to bring veterans or retired police officers, whoever wants to come in, spend some time with their compatriots, and volunteer, work and make some flags. We'll teach them how to do that. And one of the things that I've learned, so many things I've learned about these amazing people is they don't want to tell their stories. They don't want to tell the stories of the horrors they've seen in battle. They don't want to talk about, some do, but the overwhelming majority don't like to talk about that. But if you put them in a room with others who have crawled through the same mud or been through the same thing, then the stories start flowing, and it's a way for them to heal. We hear about the terrible number of suicides a day. Fortunately, that's trending down, but still it's way too high. But so if they can get together and talk and share their stories, that's a way they can begin, work on the healing process. So we're going to open that facility this year, and then that'll come out of my wood shop.
Yeah, well, that's really exciting, my friend. You've come a long way. just from kind of that. It's I guess it's funny how far, kind of when you decide you have a mission and there's something that you want to do and you have a real reason why behind it, how far your brain will kind of push you to make it happen.
It will. You're 100% right. And what I've, the more I've learned about these people, we all are guilty of, kind of bumper sticker patriots where, you hear people, I never forget, or, on Memorial Day or 4th of July or, Veterans Day, you'll see people put a flag out or, do a token. And was guilty of that myself. But when you see what these folks actually have been through, and obviously when they pay the ultimate sacrifice, there's no way we can ever do enough for them. But we had to do more than just, a pat on the back and a thank you for your service. Most of them don't like that, and they're uncomfortable with it. They said, you'll hear them say, "I didn't do it for that,"
Yeah.
but we owe them more than that. And so this is our small part, and it's been really well received. The response from the generous community out there has been great. Obviously we are a nonprofit, so we are funded by donations, and that's a great way for people who don't have the time to do something like that themselves to come through us and
Sure.
make a donation and let us help others.
Tell me a little bit about kind of getting, people hearing about it. So like what was that story like where people kind of found out about you guys and wanted to participate and donate and things like that? Like what was either the process or what kind of was the catalyst for a lot of people hearing about you and wanted to participate?
Yeah, it's a great question. I would say we've only really begun that story because you're never, ever done telling your story and getting people's attention. But, we went through the basic channels of all the social medias and, just starting with emails and texts through friends saying, "Hey, go check out this," and go, the standard Facebooks and all that kind of stuff. And, it immediately, it grew quickly from, immediate friends to thousands in, a month or two. And then I haven't looked at it in a little while to see how many people there are between all the different social medias. But that's obviously the way of the future. And, when people see you're doing a good thing, like we do every week, we put out a Hero of the Week video. So we pick one of the people that we've given a flag to, and we have a 1 or 2 minute video telling a little bit more about them, and that's tough because I tell people all the time it's so hard to, like, I'm an energetic type of person, but when you're talking about someone that's passed, you want to be respectful and somber, but you don't want to be boring either, and
Right.
and I struggle with that. But so that's really how we get the word out. And the military community, the first responder community, they are so tight that they will spread the word. Every time we go to do a presentation, there's 40 or 50 new people that are there for that, and they're going to tell their friends and that type of thing. The one thing that I've really been impressed with, one of many, is the mentality of what I like to call not me, him. If I ever write, I've often said, if I ever write a book about this, if we keep writing books, I don't know if that'll be happening in the future, but every time I talk to somebody about, honoring somebody, especially someone who's still living, occasionally someone asks us to do something in honor of someone who's served a lot. If I broach that subject with them, that's what comes out of my mouth. No, I don't deserve anything. I don't want anything. But that guy over there, or that woman over there, they deserve all the accolades, and not me. But that's it's clearly not the case. But they're wired so much
Just
better.
Conditioned to push the honor to the next person.
They are indeed.
Yeah. So that journey that you've been on is a quickly moving one, right? For it to have been a year and a half and really to kind of build your bones and so many people to hear about you is an amazing thing in business, right? It's awareness is the first stage of that value journey of people understanding and loving your brand and the things that you do. So I think that you guys are off to a killer start. I really do. Tell me a little bit, kind of at the beginning of things where you're transitioning into that 501c3 period and your goals for more people to hear about you and honor more veterans and continue to push the things that you're making to the people that deserve it. Tell me kind of what that process was like, and I want to know kind of what you guys did really, really well and what was difficult and you kind of had to learn from.
Yeah, learning is a constant. I had a client one time. I always will never forget this. Who told me, Mike, the day I stop learning is the day I start dying, and that's kind of always stuck with me. And we've learned so much. We've learned that everyone has good intentions. Following through on those intentions sometimes doesn't happen. We get we get distracted by the next shiny objects that's in front of us, and it's a very fine line to be, between persistence and annoyance. As I like to say, people will say, "Man, this is great what you're doing." I had someone come up the other day and say to me, "Oh my God, you're that guy. You're like famous." And I'm like, "No, I'm not quite famous, but it's nice to hear. But that's A, it's not true, and B, that's not why we're doing it. But it's hard to know when to push more and when to not push more, because obviously we can't do what we do without funding and donations and things like that. But when you're with families or other police officers or firemen or other Marines, soldiers, Navy, they're so appreciative, and they're like, "Oh, I'm going home tonight, and I'm going to go make a donation. I'm going to tell all my friends." And then, you want to assume that that's going to happen, but the sad reality that I learned quickly is that does not happen. Everyone moves on to the next, the next thing on their plate, and so that's the thing that I probably struggle with the most. The people who have the good intentions, but I don't want to be, cross that line.
Yeah, for sure. Trying to be, what a lot of people would kind of consider pushy, and converting them to something that really, really helps the business.
Yeah.
That it may be that there's a way that they're even more valuable to you. You know what I mean? Because there are, being an extension of your marketing team and telling other people about that goes so far in the small business world that those people will still bring some value to you too. But I think you're doing the right thing, kind of tiptoeing that line, because it's a difficult thing to do. You know what I mean? It's a difficult thing to kind of find your place in that world.
100%. You're right. And I have to share this with our board members all the time, that I tell them there's no right or wrong way to respond to this, because we have to remember that we're talking to people about the single worst event of their life. And whether it's 6 days, 6 months, or 6 years ago, it's still the worst event of their life. And, you want to kind of try to be friendly and have fun later on as you get further away from it. But, some people will respond and tell everybody they know and go out and get 50 people to nominate.
We become your biggest advocate.
Right. Mm-hmm. We've got an expression that we use, and it's nominate, radiate, and donate. And that's that's the three big responsibilities that we tell our board members, as well as our fans and friends, that we need you to nominate people for us to make these flags for. And we need them to radiate by sharing all of our messages and videos. And, we just started a YouTube channel, all the different things. And then, of course, donate. So it's a catchy little, it rhymes, nominate, radiate, and donate. But if they radiate alone, then to your point, exactly, that will be probably in the long run even better than a one-time donation. But the people that sign up for the monthly donations and spread the word, they're the ones who are going to keep us around for a long time.
Absolutely, I agree. Tell me about so in the future, as you move forward, like what is, you said you opened a facility and things like that. Like where do you guys see yourself moving from here?
Well, we have plans to do the first one this year, and I've already had someone ask me if we would be willing to do one in the Midwest. So the easy answer is multiple locations and have. It's not a franchisee type of thing, but it's just multiple. We're never going to run out of people to honor. So if as long as we have the volunteers and paid employees even to make the flags and handle the workload, that will be fantastic. We're looking at several ways to make our life easier in the for-profit world. We're looking at some clothing lines where we may even venture into a line of alcohol spirits that the profits from that go into funding the nonprofit side of it. So there's a lot of different things, and the file that of things that I did not know, that I'm learning is massive. And it's just, I keep saying it all the time. The things that I know that I didn't know, will never stop. But we got a lot of big goals, and we want to get to a point. We've already been called Georgia's Tunnel to Towers, we were called once. And that's an amazing honor because they're just an incredible, massive organization. But they've been at this for, since 9/11, 20 some years. So hopefully in another 20 years we'll be similar in size. But whereas they go and pay off mortgages and, build houses, we would like to do scholarships and take care of the family's education, since they've already got that other piece covered. So that would be when we get to a point where we can really start helping others financially. That's the big goal out there.
Yeah, for sure. No, that makes sense. And honestly, I think you're headed right in the right direction. You know what I mean? If you're kicking around the ideas for other things to generate revenue that are valuable to people on another front, like obviously you're thinking in the right place. You know what I mean? So I have no doubt. It's very, very unique. Tell me if someone wants to pick your brain, or someone wants to help, or someone wants to chat with you, someone wants to buy something from you, any of those things, how do they find you?
Well, the best way would be to go through our website, flagsofthefallen.org. And, I'm an open book. I'm Mike at flagsofthefallen.org if they want to email me. I talk to people all the time. It's the first conversation I have with people is often very uncomfortable and difficult. More for them, I'm getting more used to it, but I thought it was going to be a lot harder than it was. But once they realize that we're not scamming them, we're not trying to rip them off in any way, and I simply say, tell me about Taylor, or tell me about Riley, or tell me about Dylan, or tell me about your lost hero, then the floodgates open. And there's so many. I usually say, hey, can I have 10 minutes of your time? I would say on average that 10-minute phone call ends up going 2 to 3 hours with that family.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a very vulnerable time, for those people. It's a super, super vulnerable time. So I could understand why the guard would be up early.
Sure.
But, once you kind of break through that barrier, what you're doing for them and the value that you're bringing is it's unquantifiable, really. It's priceless.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I realized that there's that kind of I hate to put words of it, but like someone said ministerial the other day, or a way to be almost a counselor to some people. That never ventured into my mind, but I was with a chief of police not too long ago, and I quickly realized the day we presented the flag, he and I spent 3-4 hours together. Took me all around town, showed me, sadly, the scene where it happened. Basically, showed me the tourism, where you could come you bring the family for a vacation kind of thing. So that was really neat, and he was a great guy. And I realized towards the end of it that he's the boss there, so he doesn't have somebody to vent to.
It's his responsibility to just kind of wear those badges.
Yeah, he's got to be there for all the people that report to him, but he may not have somebody that he can go just unload on. And but that's what I ended up being that day, and not me being anything special. I happened to be the one that was there, and he was willing to listen, and and we got along really well, so that helped. But when I got in the car afterwards, I realized, man, it was fantastic, but he needed to do the things. It's the old things roll downhill, not uphill kind of thing, and so he can't vent back to the people that report to him, but he could do it with me, and that was quite an honor. And I've had that similar type of thing on a number of occasions. So that's the amazingly biggest surprise that they're there to help them emotionally, as well as to put
physical
the physical. Yeah.
Well, to sum up what you're saying on a really, really high level, I have family that's both active military and retired military, right? And I think it isn't a very present idea in your mind how far that time goes with those people, right? And how far that energy that you put into having a conversation with someone can go in their mind and make their life and their day and their mindset better, right? So I would say if there was anything that I could leave the audience with, is that you find a way to pour back into those people's lives, because it is, like I said, it is literally priceless. And if you don't know that way, Flags of the Fallen is a wonderful way to start contributing to that community that more than anything desperately needs, resources. It's not attention. They just need resources. They need human resources. They need physical resources, because the grief that you experience in that time is a one of a kind thing, and I think that interaction that you have with someone at that point is a one of a kind thing as well. So if you have any resources to put in that direction, I think they go further than maybe anywhere else that you could put them, and Flags of the Fallen is a really, really good place to start if you don't know how to find those people and interact with those people on your own. So
well, I appreciate that, brother. That's I couldn't have said it any better myself. And people, they don't have to just donate money, because it's not, times are tough now. They can reach out to us and help out in other ways. Even if it's just sharing all the videos, this podcast, if it's just getting the word out, that's, you can't put a dollar figure on that. It's fantastic. And that will lead to other dollars coming in other directions. So
yeah, I agree, and hopefully we can generate some of those for you as well. I think that they're I'm gonna go ahead and put this podcast here on the speed runner and release it before July 4th. And I'm gonna tag some of my people in it as well that hopefully have some people that want to participate. But I think what you're doing is brilliant, my friend. And on behalf of my community and the people that I speak for in my life personally, we do appreciate it, and we see it.
Thank you.
So thank you for that. Kind of the way that we always end Burn the Ship is a little bit of allusion to the name of the podcast. It seems like this was something that was kind of pulling on your heart for a while there after the experience in 2021. What does it feel like to kind of go all in on this idea? To know that you're bringing value to people and be able to commit time and energy and finances and all those things to it. Like, what is that feeling of committing to this idea that brings value to people's lives feel like, and why should other people look for that same thing?
Yeah, it's a great question. it has become the honor of my life. And, I didn't serve in any capacity. And I've learned so much more about those who have. So for me, I'm fortunate enough that I can devote a ton of time and a decent amount of my own money to get this moving, but then to get us off the ground, get us going. And I had no idea how amazingly deep and profound this was going to be for me and for others. So it's been the honor of my life, and we're going to keep going. I don't know what's around the corner, where the ship will head. Hopefully, we don't burn the ship we're on, but the ship's heading in the right direction, and we got a lot of places to visit with it.
No, yeah, and I hope to put some energy into that as well. I hope that myself and my community can make that a little bit easier for you. So
I love it. Thank you.
Well, thank you, my friend. I appreciate you coming on. It really means a lot. Thank you. I want to
Thank
shake
you.
your hand on camera one more time. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I really
Thank
do
you, brother.
appreciate it. Cool. Until next time, my friends.